This is Tucker, and today we're going to go ahead and start out by making some cardboard patterns to see if we can get some material cut out so we can attach the Buick Roadmaster trunk floor to the 57 Chevy trunk floor. So we'll go ahead and get started on that and see where we can end up. Alright, well here's that wheel well area that we had put together in some of those previous videos there. But when we get down here to the back, towards the rear of the car, you can see that our 57 piece didn't go down low enough, and we had quite a little bit of rot right up in here. So what we're going to go ahead and do now is come in here and build us a piece, cut this bad stuff out right along in here, and come down and build us a piece that'll tie in this factory support area here on the Roadmaster brace. We're going to get that all welded up and make a patch for it, and then bring it in up here along this back splash pan area. And then once we get that all cut out and welded in, then we can go ahead and make another piece from that point clear to the rear of the car. So we'll go ahead and get started on that and see where we end up. Alright, now that we got our piece cut out of that pattern, we're going to go over there and get this piece bent up and see if we can get it to fit in there. But what I did was I went ahead and added these 3 reliefs here, and the reason for that is I was planning on, once we get this fitting, I was going to bend this over into a 90, this lower flap, and hopefully the trunk floor will lay directly over the top of it, and we can just drill a few holes in that trunk floor and spot weld it to this piece once we get it in there. So let's go over and try it out and see if we can get it to fit. Alright, that's pretty much what we were shooting for here. So we'll go ahead and pull it back off, get all our material cleaned up where we got bare metal exposed everywhere. And we have this piece ready here to where it'll just literally fold up underneath this trunk floor, as you can see it here. And then right here we're completely flush with that brace that's up there. So we'll get that all cleaned up. So as soon as we get her cleaned up, we'll get her clamped into place and get her welded in there. Well, now that we got this all ground inside the wheel well area, we'll go ahead and take a look inside of the trunk there and go ahead and get started on some patterns and work it onto the rear. Alright, here's what that looks like from inside the trunk area. Once we finish getting this completed out to the edge, we're going to come in here and drill some holes down into that 90 that we'd put onto this. That way we can attach this trunk floor to this outer panel here. So what we're going to do next, we're going to come in here and kind of clean some of this material up right along here and kind of round it off, get into a little bit solider material here, and we'll make a pattern kind of like what we did over here and get this piece broke over, do the same 90 on it, and get that piece welded in. Once that's done, then we'll come in here and cut out a small area here where that inner flap is attached, and we can patch that spot up there, and we'll have this side pretty well done. Alright, well, we got the Roadmaster trunk floor spot welded to these panels that we made. So we came in here, ground them down, cleaned it all up. So for right now, we pretty much got the driver's side put together here. The only thing we'll probably do in the future is come along this edge here where this is pinch welded together up in here. And then right along where this trunk floor meets these pieces, we'll come in here with a little seam sealer and kind of seal that up. But other than that, I think we pretty well got this side pretty well wrapped up. Well, on the passenger side here, we weren't able to duplicate our patterns that we had on the drivers because the contour of that driver's side was a little different to make up for that spout that comes down inside the quarter for the fuel fill. So on this side here, we're going to go ahead and start by cutting off some of this lower material here to get into some good clean metal there before we make our patterns. So we'll get started on that and see where we end up. Alright, well here's a view up here underneath the passenger side here. And here's the bottom of that trunk floor of the Roadmaster. And on the driver's side, what we did was we came down off of this inner quarter panel of the 57 and then broke it over to a 90. Came into about right here all the way across and spot welded that trunk floor along to that 90-degree angle there, which allowed us a little bit extra room back here towards the back for the fuel spout that we haven't put in there yet. But I think on this side we're going to make it a little bit more like factory, and we're going to come in here with a piece of sheet metal and then kind of just weld a 90 directly along that Roadmaster trunk floor, and then we can come in from that inner quarter and bring it straight down and then do some spot welds all the way along that 90 and attach it that way. So we'll go ahead and try to get this piece patterned out here and see where we end up. All right, now that we got that all cleaned up, this is kind of what we ended up with on the passenger side underneath. And here's a look inside the trunk area. Well, I want to go ahead and take a quick minute here to thank everybody who's been following along here on this build. And I want to apologize for being so long between the last video there. The kind of work I do, I farm a little bit, and man, I'll tell you what, I kind of got off early in the season where I had a little hiccup with some of my equipment. Like I said, my equipment's all about as old as I am, if not older. So sometimes it seems like if you get in a bad cycle where you're kind of opposite of the weather, it just seems like you're chasing your tail the whole time, and that's kind of how this season was. But we got everything all in for the season, and we're going to get right back on the goose here, so I should keep these videos coming here. So I know a lot of you probably thought I was either in jail or dead with the coof or something, but we should be rolling now. So if you like what you're seeing here, go ahead and click the like and subscribe button, and stay tuned because we're going to be getting some more out here pretty quick. Thanks for watching.